We're going to call this meeting of the Unionville Historic District and Properties Commission to order on Thursday, June 5, 2025. We'll begin by reviewing and approving the minutes of May 8th. I'll give you just a minute to look them over. Okay. Do you want a copy? Do you want one, Bob?
Sure.
Look them over. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes, please?
I move we approve the minutes.
A second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes?
I don't think so.
I wasn't here.
Okay. Hearing none, those who approve the minutes, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Any nays? Any abstentions? No, thank you. Minutes approved. All right. I will just say, since we have on our agenda the Fall 2025 Oral History event, a small group of us are meeting tomorrow morning with Jerusha Neely, the librarian in the Farmington Room, who's going to orient us to, and we're going to discuss this piece of software that we talked about at the last meeting. That would be Their Story, which is a platform, a recording and transcription service for oral history interviews. So we'll be meeting with her at 11 or 11:30. I can't recall what time. And in regard to that, I wanted to get a sense from commissioners what sort of questions you'd like us to ask about this program and about the project overall, because I think one of the things we discussed was having the Farmington Room or the Farmington Library as a partner in this this program. So if you could think about some questions right now that you'd like us to bring up at this meeting with Jerusha, that would be great. Anybody have any thoughts? Kelly, you're coming to the meeting, is that right?
Yes, and it's at 11,
Yes.
as far as I know.
11, yes, okay.
I think so. I'll double check though.
I was just wondering if there's a way to wrap in the 70th anniversary of the Unionville flood, which is this August,
Mm.
Oh,
with this
Oh,
project.
wow.
that's a great idea. Is it 70 years?
70 years.
Wow.
55.
Yeah. Oh,
Wow.
wow. That's a great idea. Great idea.
Especially if we found people who had lived or relatives had lived in one of the houses that survived.
Yes,
Absolutely.
and there's also a gentleman that lives in Unionville, Tom Larson, who goes and actually still gives talks to the elementary schools about the flood of 55.
Oh,
And he-
really?
Yes, and he grew up in Unionville, and I'm not sure exactly where he lived, but I know he worked at the dairy farm that used to be down behind the sewage plant. There was a
Uh-huh.
dairy farm down there years ago. I know that's Farmington, but still.
Mhm.
That's right. No, that's fine. Oh, that's really interesting. So,
Like that.
oh, so he must be, is he in his early, I'm just guessing his early 70s?
No, he's in his 80s.
Yeah.
He's in
Okay.
his like mid to late 80s, and he is sharp as a tack.
Top of the list. That's
Do
great.
you have his name?
I have
Yeah,
his
it's-
name, and I know Matt.
I think Matt put him on the list at the last meeting.
Yeah, Matt
Oh,
has
okay.
been assembling the list
All right.
based on people's names that we've come up with at our commission meetings. So we'll put him on the top of the list. That's great.
I can send his telephone number to Matt if you want. My husband has it because my husband knows him well.
Well, that would be excellent.
Mm.
That would
Yeah.
be excellent.
And then I'll let him know ahead of time that you're going to be contacting him.
That's great.
Great.
Thank you.
That's good.
Thank you. I think Patty LaBouthier had also been recommended as someone to do an oral history with, and she certainly has vivid memories of the flood, so.
Yep.
And I know that, you, town government, and also the Unionville Museum are doing things preparing for that anniversary, but it would still be nice for us to interview Patty as well.
I would suggest like Diane Bickford.
Diane Bickford.
Yeah, she can tell you about, well, not so much about, all about the flood, but she can tell you about the canal in her backyard,
Uh-huh. Where does she live, Bob?
right across the street from us.
Okay.
Wow.
45 Cottage Street.
I could try to get my friend David Brooks.
Mm,
He's at 1765 Farmington Avenue, the green and white house adjacent to the park on Farmington Avenue.
Yes.
That house survived, and he has told me a number of stories. He can be curmudgeon-y. I think he's pushing 90 now, but still pretty sharp. I think he's having difficult with his eyesight. But I'll try to persuade him somehow, some way. He and Debbie still live in the house, and
That's great. I know David and Debbie, Mr. and Mrs. Brooks. I know them as.
yeah.
He's wonderful to listen to.
yeah.
So that's great. That's great.
Okay.
I have a feeling we're going to be competing to interview some of these people. That's my sense. Yeah, nice. Are there any other thoughts under the category of the Unionville flood? Any other people or questions you would like to see us pose when we get to the interview section? Not really sure right now. Okay. Yeah.
For people reluctant to travel to speak or share their stories, there are ways to visit them in their homes and record them there.
mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think one of the things Jerusha mentioned to me, and it surprised me, but the more I thought about it, I shouldn't have been surprised. I believe this software actually works with Zoom, so you could do your oral interviews digitally, which is
Great.
Oh,
a great
yeah.
bonus. I think it gives us and our interviewees lots of options.
Okay.
So,
Super.
all right.
That's good.
Any other subject matters or questions you believe we should bring up in this meeting?
Well, they've already done oral
Oh, I know.
histories,
Mm.
so,
Not with this software. These oral histories were done in the, I
2010.
want to say, the
Is it
90s and the aughts, maybe, and the early
okay.
part of the 21st century. I did a couple of them myself.
so I'd be curious to know how they did the original ones, how they found the people.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I was also,
What kind of
Yeah.
outreach did they do, or
Mhm.
should we be doing? I mean, it'd be great if we had a local newspaper, but.
Mhm. Mhm.
we do, we have the Farmington Patch.
Yeah,
We-
there's a patch, there's, the fall newsletter at this point.
Yeah.
There's the Valley Press.
Valley Press.
Yeah, I just got the copy of the Valley Press.
Valley Press
Is
is
it a
even
newspaper form or is it a magazine?
Valley Press is
Um,
a magazine.
Magazine.
It's Farmington,
Yeah,
Avon.
or magazine, I guess, but still, I mean,
Yeah, okay.
Periodical.
yeah.
I mean, I was gonna say, I think with any of that, if
They are.
we just have to target what we have for digital resources, and I know it's not the same as the paper,
Right.
Barbara.
Yeah.
I mean, I know, I miss it too. But but if you do, especially if we're doing something with the library has a reach already. They have like a newsletter they do, plus their website. Plus we
And the
can do the
Friends.
patch, plus probably the
Yeah.
museum. like, we'll be able to, I think, get a better than last time, like, right? We need like existing channels that we
Right.
can use.
In Valley Life, there is a community happenings section.
Perfect.
So like the museum is advertising their latest exhibit. They've got a whole list of things going on at the Farmington Library.
Perfect.
Yeah, so
Right.
there is a section of it.
The Friends group as a whole might be a resource. They tend to be, at least from what I've seen, a little bit older. I shouldn't say that. I have no right to say that people are a little bit older, but anyway.
No, that's true. I think that's a fair statement.
But
yeah.
no, but, you
Yeah.
know, and I'm sure that many of them have been in town, and so if they don't have historical memories that are interesting, they may know people that do.
Yeah, very good. Are there any other events within a lifetime that have happened that you would want to make sure that we include in these interviews of people? I mean, the flood is an obvious one, definitely.
I would like to know how the whole redoing of Tonxa Square and, you know, how that affected the lives, the stores that are no longer there, the
Yeah.
community.
That was
Near-
a fire.
facilities
That was
are no longer there.
Yeah.
that was a fire. It was
It
arson.
was deliberate, but it
Really?
was deliberately, Dan, because the
Huh?
town, it was set by the town.
No,
Because they had a plan, they had urban renewal funds, and,
my
cul-de-sac.
Union School bus driver was arrested for starting that fire.
What?
I'm not, well,
We need research.
that's an interesting
I don't
story.
know.
But the buildings were demolished in order to make room for what.
Yes, the buildings were
Subsequent.
demolished and that was the early 70s when everyone was on this, big urban renewal.
Right, urban renewal.
Right.
Right.
Right,
Right.
ugly architecture, and they got rid of anything that was,
church.
historical, and they just ripped it all down and made it as
Well-
ugly as possible.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Well,
think,
we're on the other
speaking
side
of,
that.
I was just gonna say, speaking of what you saying that, Ian, we could do an angle of like what it was like to go to Hartford even. I know we're talking about Unionville, but like what was it like? Because I mean, it used to be a big deal to go to Hartford, and we had I don't know. That's just something I'm thinking about. Like that was the city, and it's
Yeah.
very different now.
Yeah, I used to go on the bus with my mother,
See?
and we'd take the bus into either West Hartford or downtown Hartford, when
Go to G
downtown Hartford
Fox.
had an actual downtown.
Right. I don't know. That I know it's not Unionville, so I'm spreading my
Yeah.
wings here. I was just trying to think of like
Okay.
other
Yeah.
like other
Yeah.
events.
The,
Yeah.
trolley house as well, which
Right.
didn't go that far, but went Unionville to Farmington.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, what about specific buildings or buildings overall? Since that's what we deal with. We deal with a human-built environment. Are there any buildings in particular you're curious about, or you haven't seen a lot of information about them?
Well, there's
I want to know about the mill that's across the river. I just want to say.
Oh, well, that,
I'd like to
yeah.
know more about that. Richardson's Mill? is
That we have to do a trip to.
Mhm.
well, how long I don't have the history. I don't know like there's that old
That's
bank
better.
that's across the street from it's the doctor's office now or another office now.
Oh, where
Uh-huh.
Claudette's Creative Clippings are? Or
Not that
another
not
one.
that one. I'm thinking
Oh,
of
the
the
other
one
one, yeah.
near the church
Don't-
That
across
was,
Across the museum.
across the
Yes.
museum.
Unionville
Yeah.
Bank.
that was Unionville Bank and Trust.
Right, right.
Yeah,
That's the only old
Mhm.
building I can.
that one.
It's a
That's
beautiful building.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
And I
The bank.
believe that is
Article
on
21.
the Federal Historic Register. Dr. Lawson, when he was
I
alive.
yes, he bought it.
he bought it and had it put on the Federal Historic Register because he used historic tax credit dollars to redo some of it because my husband actually worked on it.
Oh, okay.
That's
Huh.
interesting. I didn't know
Wow.
that. Huh.
I don't know if there's a plaque on it. I don't think I've ever seen a plaque on it.
You know, we
Usually
could
they're
look it
marked,
up. And
like the
we
firehouse,
could
like
look
the
it up on
museum.
the,
Well, he
Okay.
also got sick, so I mean, it could have been something that just didn't get taken
Right.
care of, you know?
I didn't think it did, yeah,
Yeah.
Wow.
yeah.
Huh.
You know, I just want to let you know, because I just reread this letter in my old files. Up until and including the year 2019, when a building was put into a local historic district in Connecticut, those buildings were automatically put on the State Register of Historic Places. After 2019, that wasn't the case. So any buildings, Unionville or Farmington, that came in after 2019, they're not on the State Register. It's a fairly simple form. It's a 3-page form to have a locally registered building put on the State Register. And that might be something that we want to catch up with, just as a, you know, another narrow, thin layer of protection for the, and these would be for the buildings that were, and there aren't a lot, we don't have a lot of them, were put on between 2020 and I think our last one was 2021. So it's a handful of buildings, but that might be something that we put in our regular files to pay attention to once a year.
Mm-hmm. Is that something the owners have to fill out?
I don't think I have a copy with me right now.
Initial, yes.
They may need, do they need to initial it? Possibly, but I think it's a pretty standard form. And if we did the research to put a building in the local historic district, we would have all the information, or the owner would have all the information they need to do the State Register form very simply. So I've got one at home.
Okay.
So that's a little sidebar. All right, good, good. Anything else we should bring up with Jerusha tomorrow?
Well, I'd like to know what kind of materials they have for the questions they ask. I know you've got to, I mean, when we bring someone in or someone offers to come in, we're going to have to do some research about their family, their home, whatever we can find. But I'm just curious as to what, if they have anything printed that they've used or that they think can be used, what materials.
You mean to do the research?
Right.
Yeah.
Right,
Okay.
do the research and then also to ask the questions.
Yep, and develop the questions. Yeah, that's a big
Yeah.
part of the project, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think we did this. I don't know if we did this list last time or if I just wrote stuff down. Because it was talking, I had written down about the program, about the interviewers, like you were talking about just now, Barbara, like, you know, how we get volunteers, or are there volunteers already? About the archival, about all forms, about any research they did prior.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that training, software, purpose or theme. I don't know. Those are just some of I think all my questions were, a lot of them were really tactical. Although I would be interested to know, and I could do this and I have not, and I know there's a link because I saw in something about it in the Unionville museum letter, but did they have a theme? Did they have a way that they went about even like categorizing what they were doing and so forth? I mean, I just haven't had a chance to look into it, so I don't know if anyone else has already of what's existing.
What do you mean by categorizing, Kelly?
Well, like, I'm just curious, like, do they just have like people, or do they have it like by story? Like, I don't know. This is a story about kind of like X during this time, or
I see.
I just
Like-
don't,
like an
know
index?
how they did it, or is it just people just saying, I'm, you know, just interviewing, tell you what my life was like during that time? was there like a theme behind it? Like we were just talking about doing like thinking about it from the flood angle. I don't know.
Okay, we'll see what, a lot depends on what this software platform offers. And I've only looked at it superficially, so we could end up talking only about tactical things, which would be just fine. Because then we'll know if we can manage it or not. I think that's
Right.
always my first question, is this something we can manage? And if it isn't, then we need to think away. So, all right, good. Think of anything else?
They, I'm assuming that they have a list of their oral histories?
They're on, they're actually on the website.
Mm-hmm.
Their
So,
oral histories are on the website too?
Mhm.
yeah, it's under,
I know the houses are, but,
it's brand new.
Okay.
I had not seen
yeah,
it.
all right, oral.
So you want to look on the library website under, is it community? I can't remember. Oh, there you go.
FICA, I think there's,
Was it,
Farmington, the Farmington room.
yearbooks?
I'm just curious if there's.
It's a page. I don't think it's every oral history that they did, but it's,
See if there's anything.
This is
Because
it.
we could use that kind of as a jumping off from.
For yearbooks.
I don't think it's in it. It's on
I think I just found it.
the Farmington room.
I think I just
Oh, yeah.
Googled it and you and there's audio and there's transcripts.
Local history.
Yeah, if you Google it, it comes right up.
Okay, oh, did you find it?
Farmington room, oral
Girl.
history project.
Oh, okay.
Oh, oral history report, there it is.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll
did
do
that
it
one?
again.
Of course, it's not gonna load.
Who did that one?
These are the ones that were done in, I think it was the 90s and up through maybe
I'm gonna
2005.
try to look
There it
at that before the meeting,
Oh, yeah.
before we meet with her tomorrow, try to get
Yeah,
an
this is
idea.
worth looking at because, now
Yeah.
this is not under the software package that we're going to be talking about. However, this is what was done. I'm a little unclear about who the sponsors were, but at any rate, all the paperwork for these interviews and also the legal documents and release forms and everything that they did are in the Farmington room.
Mm-hmm,
So that's another source of information for us.
yeah.
We could create our own system. And we can also look at this material, to get a sense of what we need. There it is.
There's like an index to start, there's a,
Patty.
Yeah.
yeah, Patty Lucia was the
Yeah.
interviewer.
Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Interviewer.
Yeah. Yeah, they're really fascinating. I listened for about an hour to a couple of them, and very compelling.
Walking to Miss Porter's, how far away? I would assume that's just through the village.
Yeah, probably, yeah. Maybe Spirit, yeah, she was amazing.
So there's a report, there's written reports, there's audio recordings, and then there's some videos as well.
Right. So the written reports are transcriptions, which they had volunteers, do. It was all volunteer work.
Mm-hmm.
So they would take the audio recordings, which we did on cassette tapes, and they would listen and they would transcribe. Many of you know Sherry Horton. She did transcription. I think she did some oral history. But anyway, that's worth looking at. It just gives you an idea of how this works.
2006.
And it's with the date, it looks like.
You got 3 pages,
Yeah.
too.
Oh, 3 pages on
Yeah.
That's two.
it? Yeah. Yeah.
There's 66.
Pretty good.
Wow.
That's 34 written reports, 31 audio files.
Audio, video.
Anybody know they're there?
Well, this looks newer.
Member
Which is, oh, 2011.
1106, so 2012.
Yeah.
Yeah, a good one to go in and look at is the one by Jack Crockett.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
He's Mr. Unionville.
Yeah.
He was amazing. Truly amazing. Oh, yeah, June Ayers. Oh, gosh. Yeah. Oh, Betty Kelly. Yeah, these are,
Yeah, his comments on the documents at the Unionville Museum
yeah,
are fascinating.
Mary Wadsworth, Henry Mason. Yeah, these are all, you know, what's so wonderful about this is I look at this list and many of these people are gone. But there you go.
1982.
82, wow. Oh, Larry Rose, yeah. That's great. Yeah, so there's talking about, with Jerusha, there's talking about this software platform and about a partnership. And there's also the material from this project in the Farmington room. And I think it's worth looking at, certainly exploring both.
So I think even listening to some of them will give us an idea of the kinds of questions that were asked. And,
Yep, yep,
and who and its background material.
yep, absolutely.
Now, when they did these, were they in the library when they performed?
You know, I don't know that. I know I did one, and we were in the library. We were in the Farmington room. But I don't know. I mean, the cassette recorder could be taken anywhere.
Right.
So that's a good question. Good.
It seems like a good place to do it, in the library, anyway.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, great.
I would like to know, and I'm sure Patty is the person to ask, how
Good.
Andrew Carnegie decided to put a library in Unionville.
Well,
I would not think of well, I come from New York, so this would be kind of like, what?
what do you mean? Unionville is a hot spot.
Well,
Come on
it was an
Yeah, it
amazing
was.
hot spot.
It was, yeah.
So that I have learned.
I'm gonna write down.
No, I mean, the history of Unionville is fascinating. It's the whole history of the Industrial Revolution in the United States, really.
Mm-hmm.
So it's actually a fascinating history.
Yep. Yeah, you're so right about that. Well, that's good. I think this is a good list. We're gonna have a great conversation tomorrow. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Very much so. Anything else about the oral history project that you'd like to discuss or bring up, or? No? All right. That'll close that part of the agenda. We don't have anything else on our agenda. Is there anything else that someone would like to bring up or ask questions about? We have Garrett here for another few days.
The Farmington Historic District expansion finally is going to town council Monday night, in the pavilion. So either myself or one of my colleagues will be presenting that. That's a pretty easy, straightforward.
Great.
That's for the 2 historical society properties.
Excellent. Yeah. Is this the approval by the town council?
Yes, this is the very last step.
Nice. Okay. Well, I'll be here, and anybody else who'd like to join me, we should stand up and clap. And that's very cool. Very cool. Thank you. Anything else, Gary?
At the town hall?
It'll be in the pavilion out back, that side.
Yeah.
When you drive around the back, it's that building out
Yeah,
back. They moved town council because of high school graduation, but town plan and zoning commission is
Okay,
already gonna be in
so-
here, so it's gonna be in the pavilion.
Okay. All right, good.
on Monday night, what time?
7 o'clock.
Not a big place.
Good size.
Yeah.
It's probably only a little smaller than this section of the room.
It's where we were voting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll see. Put them in. I wanted to let you know that the owner of 111 Lovely Street is painting her house. And so that's not a project that would come under the approval of the historic district because it's color, but she's fairly closely duplicating the current colors if you're interested. So that is going on. Yeah. Anybody have anything else to share with the commission, or?
That's your neighbor.
It is. We got to see the paint samples and kind of weigh in on the choices.
How many colors are they choosing?
So they have a body color of a lighter green, a dark green, a really deep dark green for the shutters, and then a very nice garnet red for the inner trims of the windows and some of the decorative elements on the porch.
Nice.
So it's really a very nice selection. They could go a little wilder, but I think they like a little restraint.
So three colors?
3 colors, right?
Yeah. Good.
Now, did the other house on Lovely Street that the gentleman came before us, did they sell that yet?
Not yet.
They did.
Oh, they did?
Yeah,
Oh.
the sold sign is on it tonight.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's,
The Simon's house?
so it was sold
Wow.
to a woman who lives in West Hartford. Don't know many details.
Oh,
And she plans to rent it as a single-family home.
plans to rent
Rent?
it.
So I don't know if that's actually the case, but that's what I heard through the
Okay.
government.
That would be a hard rental.
Yeah.
Big house.
Not in Farmington.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
For a
can't
family?
imagine anyone wanting to rent it.
Why?
The bathroom?
Well, the bathrooms aren't
I
actually.
mean, they're not bad, but
No, I mean,
I don't know. That would be,
it's a beautiful building.
it is beautiful. I'd like to own it, but
Yeah.
it's not in my
I'm just wondering if she plans on making it into a 2-family.
They
No,
I don't
can.
think-
yeah, we talked about the last meeting,
They
it's not
can.
allowed.
You can't.
Yeah.
Oh, you
It's
can?
not, it's not,
Can't be multifamily and it can't be zoned commercial, is that right?
Correct, yep.
So it's really,
Okay.
it's going to remain a single-family home, which is terrific.
Sure, you'd be happy.
Can I ask you when that map went
Yeah.
into place? I wasn't even aware of that zone of where, so a significant part of Lovely Street is, can't be zoned commercial and it
So it's,
has to stay single-family.
it's not necessarily a map, it's in the state, it might be more federal Supreme Court, is that changing a zone for a property that's not necessarily in harmony with the neighboring properties is usually deemed spot zoning,
Mhm.
and is,
Yeah.
it's usually not supported by anything, so it's usually not
okay.
approved. There's no commercial on Lovely Street at all. Outside of Claudette,
Yep,
there's no commercial on Lovely Street. There's a home business
yes,
on,
yes, that's a,
55,
yes,
which is allowed, it's allowed. You're limited to 20% of the living area
Yes.
as a home business. So
Okay.
it's not like you can have the house be a business. But
all
we
internet.
would not rezone
yeah,
it to commercial. There's no, I did have someone ask, and it was a blackout now.
yeah. That's great. Now so that's that's the pink zone, so that
So-
comes down onto Main Street also.
Yeah, so this is this is all obviously, Scully, Nick Reeve, and the
Yes,
bank.
yes, yes.
That was existing, same
So,
with the
and
dentist's office.
Once you get up to Sanford, between Sanford and,
Everything north
Sherman.
of Route 4, aside from the.
that's 2-family, or multiple
No.
families.
No, so this is all single family, this orange is single family.
Right.
This pinkish purple,
Yeah.
or I guess it's peach,
Yeah.
I'm not great with helping.
No, but on Lovely, once you get above Sanford,
No.
it's, yeah, they are, they're multiple families. Those
They may
big
be
Queen Anne's are multiple families.
Right, they're existing non-conforming. They wouldn't be allowed, if it was a single family today, it would not be allowed to be converted.
Oh,
to
really?
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Grandfather,
Oh.
grandfather day.
Mhm.
All right.
Yeah, we can't do anything about it, but they can't
As long
add
as
any
it-
more units, they can't, it's
Yeah,
limited.
okay.
Oh, interesting.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Those are also huge.
yeah, that's very interesting. And along, that's Perry Street?
Harry Street does allow multifamily, but
Yeah.
it's certain, you need a certain lot within a certain area, number of units, so I think it's,
Okay.
I don't have it, I think it's, 9,000 for one unit, 12,000 for two units, 18,000 for three units, and 24,000 for four units. So if you have a larger lot,
Yeah.
in a zone that normally requires 9,000 square feet per unit, you can have, which is why on Farmington Avenue, there's all the multifamilies.
Got
They're
it.
very deep lots.
Yeah, yeah. Very interesting. Can the people on the internet right now see this?
Yeah.
Oh, good, good, okay.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Thank you, Garrett.
No problem.
Well, any more questions for Garrett about that? No? Good. All right, I think we've come to
tomorrow.
the end of our meeting. I don't know if we broke our record.
I have a question about new homes and
Yeah,
getting new homes
yeah,
into the district.
getting.
We haven't applied for getting more homes into it.
Mm-hmm. Well,
It's usually based on the homeowners coming forward of wanting to,
Yeah,
To
right
join.
now, but I mean, we used to do recruiting around, sending out brochures
letter?
and stuff like that,
A
letters.
letter to go out to people in homes over a certain age.
Mm-hmm.
oh, by new homes, you mean new buildings?
Ads for us,
Into the
yeah.
district.
Into the district,
Yeah,
yeah.
sorry, I thought you meant new buildings.
I'm sorry.
I think, where would they do that?
No.
So you're talking about moving ahead with something. Well,
Mhm.
so interesting you say that. Going through my old files, I came across our last list, which was 2018. So these are property owners we contacted in 2018 to encourage them to join the district, and a couple of these homeowners have done it, but there are several others, and I think this, I could type up this list and send it out to the membership. I think probably some of the owners' names have changed, but there's a little line with the historical significance of the building. That might be a good subject for our next meeting.
Yeah,
That would be a
Mhm.
great subject for our next,
project,
yeah.
yeah.
Why don't
Do we have a letter on that?
you mean a letter to send out to people?
Yeah.
Yes, it's the,
I know we have the forms.
we have the letters, we have the forms we always sent out. The last letter
Right.
we sent out was good. We had done that
Yeah,
several
that was
times. So I think it's all set. We just need to
I would,
be intentional. Yeah.
I would send out a letter, well, we can
Mhm.
discuss this, but, but not forms and things, because right away people think, oh, I've got to go all through this.
the form, what they actually have to fill out is their name, address.
Yeah,
that they
no,
wanna be in the-
but nothing.
We take care of everything else.
Okay, there's
No,
nothing,
so
'cause-
what we included was the simple one-page form, which is
Okay.
essentially just
I
sign
think it's your name, your address, saying you want to be in the
Yeah.
historic
Yeah,
district.
that's
Yeah,
it.
you're
Just sign it.
Yeah.
interested.
Yeah.
And then, the letter, which described the historic district and
Is there any
then
benefit for them joining?
Well, the benefit is a level of local protection.
No, but I mean for the homeowner, like if there was a tax break because you have a historical home or something.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
minimum threshold. It's not like you can submit for a single window, but it's, I think the threshold's $20,000.
Yep.
So if you're doing, if you're replacing all your windows, you probably get close to that. We've seen, some
Okay.
homes get
Yes.
pretty high if they're
Definitely.
replacing all their windows.
Yeah.
My condo was over
Right,
20,000.
so you get close to that.
Yeah.
I think that's what, but I think
Especially these
it's also,
windows.
we can put stuff on the website and we
But
can put a
there's
QR
a
code in the letter and you can just scan it.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know if there
Yeah.
was a property tax credit that the
No.
town could
No.
give.
No, but it also doesn't increase your taxes.
No, but I'm just
Doesn't-
thinking more people, if they got something for having their home on the register,
Right.
yeah, would be more apt to.
It doesn't exist, and I think in Connecticut, it would be a impossibility to get that established. Arizona, interestingly enough, has that.
Mm.
But a different tax structure.
A whole different tax structure, so it's
Yeah.
interesting. I think the primary financial benefit is this sort of, can't recall what
If you're-
the terminology is, but we have all that information.
Yeah, it's a tax credit.
It's a
program.
tax credit, right.
For upgrades
Yeah,
Right.
on the outside.
yeah. Right, but.
No,
it-
you
but
could
there's-
do inside as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You get a break on that
Yeah.
also?
Requirement.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah,
But obviously anything inside is not required of you.
right,
okay.
You'd like it to.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I'm glad you brought that up, Ann, thank you. That's included as well, we've got a sheet on that as well. So, fortunately, we have the templates for all these documents, we've used them before, we'll need to look them over, make sure they're updated, but, it wouldn't
And-
really be difficult.
If you give me just a list of addresses, I can get all the property owners and their mailing addresses. That's easy.
Oh, that'd be awesome, thank you. Thank you.
You
Good,
don't have to go through it.
thank you, Bob.
Okay,
keeping
the
us
other
going.
thing is the COA for next meeting.
Yep, we hear you're doing some work. All right,
Yeah.
so stay alert, everybody, we've
Yeah.
got a package coming from Bob about, is it your front door, Bob?
Just the front door.
Just the front door, but that'll be very interesting, thank you. Good. All right, thank you, everybody. May I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Thank you, a second.
I second.
All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any
No,
nays?
I'm gonna just stay here and,
Nays. All right,
I'm not
thank you,
leaving.
everybody. See you next month.
Thank you.
Good night.
good night.